7 primary school pupils are reported to have been injured last Tuesday after an explosive device detonated while they were playing with it in Benue State. This happened in north-central Nigeria. Now, that incident seems to have again captured the high level of civilian exposure to existential danger within Nigeria, irrespective of age, creed, or gender. Now, the scale of insecurity, as many Nigerians have come to know, it also appears to be getting wider with, entire sections of certain parts of the country continuing to be terrorized by non-state actors, including through serial extortion of funds and property and taxation of farmers before they can be allowed to have access to their farms. And with some state governors in northern Nigeria signing peace deals with bandits, is there any hope of getting a firm grip on insecurity in Nigeria? Well, we're joined for this conversation and all of that by Dr. Dickson Osajie, the CEO of Debris Protection Services, a global security analyst and anti-terrorism specialist. Good morning. Welcome to the morning show.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So let's begin with this peace deals. Is it necessary or is it dangerous? We've spoken about insecurity in Nigeria for a really long time, and we're slowly getting to a point where there's this analysis paralysis on the issue. People are tired of talking about it. This insecurity is almost becoming normalized to the point where we have no humanity or empathy. It's just like a tap on the skin every other day. What's your assessment of this? Necessary or dangerous?
I love your take on that. Necessary and dangerous. I think it's very, very dangerous. And as a country, it's setting us on a failed state motion. Because for me, I don't believe this peace deal because these guys are dangerous people. They are evil. They've been able to, put Nigeria in a state of mess. And signing a peace deal with these people is a sign of weakness. Negotiating with the enemy is a sign of weakness. A few years ago, the former governor of Katsina State also had a peace deal, took some selfie with this terrorist group. And at the end of the day, these terrorist guys, they failed him and they struck again. So for me, if we want to get things right as a country, we must stop this notion of peace deal or negotiating with bandits or negotiating with terrorists. For me, I see it as a sign of weakness. Nigeria is not a weak state, but if this keep on going on, I think we are treading on the path of a failed state. As it is now, Nigeria is in a fragile state, whereby this terrorist group attack us at we go to our homes, our various places, attack, and at the end of the day, they are being paid for killing Nigerians. When you negotiate with these guys, it simply implies that you are paying them for killing your people. You are paying them for decimating and destroying the lives of Nigerians. For me, I think it's a no-no, and it's a dangerous path we're treading.
Yeah, but given the fact that, you have a level of expertise in these areas, are we really sure that there are peace deals have been negotiated by anybody? I'm aware that the last report that we had on that came from the same Zamfara that you referenced. You referenced Katsina. Yeah. Okay, Zamfara this time is saying that they are aware, the government of Zamfara is saying that they are aware that federal government, in quotes, is negotiating with bandits and terrorists in their state. But they were cautious to also acknowledge that this may not be official representatives of the federal government, that people are taking that responsibility on themselves on behalf of the government. So it's neither here nor there. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Because the context to this is not just about peace deals. I think it's about rehabilitating those who voluntarily give up. Give up terrorism, give up banditry. And we have quite a number of people like that in Borno, in many of the northeastern states. When you say that it is bad and we shouldn't negotiate, do we have the wherewithal to actually go that route without considering any other? Get me right, I do not support it. But I'm saying that are we in sure footing to say no negotiations, we must wipe out the bandits?
Well, if you look at the recent trends, like a few days ago, a bandit and his groups went for negotiation with AK-47, RPG.
Was that Kaduna State?
Yeah, that was in Katsina State as well,
okay,
with arms and ammunition in the community. And this negotiation was organized by the clerics, some Islamic clerics, the community leaders, and some persons who believe...
that was not government.
Okay, if you say that was not government would not be present in any negotiation deal. Mm-hmm. They could send delegates or whatever the case may be. So we don't know, we are not aware, or nobody tells us who sent them. So my position is this. Negotiation with the enemy is a sign of weakness, like I rightly said. Now, in the Zamfara instance, we've seen a lot of killings happening there and there. But they strongly believe that negotiation is the way out. And that is why I strongly condemn the Operation Safe Corridor that was orchestrated by the previous administration, in the sense that they believe that these guys have repented. I tell you, there's no terrorists that you can classify it as that will ever repent because of the ideological driven mentality. A killer is a killer, any day, anytime, anywhere. When you take the life of a Nigerian or any person, you remain a killer and you remain a criminal forever. So when you talk about rehabilitation or repentance, I don't know the methodology or the process in which they pass through for them to be classified as repentant terrorists. Because if we keep on treading on this path, like I already said, we are moving towards a failed state. And if we move on towards a failed state, I tell you, Nigeria will collapse. So for us to get things right, we must attack the bull by the horn. Because when you see people like this, let them know that there's no negotiation, no deal. You kill any Nigerian, you pay the supreme price, you know. That's why I'm a Christian. The Bible says he who kill by the sword should die by the sword. So now we have our country where people kill. In our country,
no forgiveness.
No forgiveness. Now in
Bible,
our country.
in your Bible.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't say my Bible. Now, in my country, those who kill by the sword, you know, have been paid, you know. So we must stop that. Negotiation is a no.
What about those who draw a parallel from the experience of the militants in the Niger Delta, who were not only reabsorbed into the society, they were negotiated with, they were compensated. Many of them were sent to schools abroad.
What were the militants fighting
to schools
for?
abroad.
Oh, thank you very much. Just take that out. What are they fighting for? There are two clear differences here. Now, when Boko Haram sprang up, they claim Western education is sane. You understand? And they're fighting for a purpose, you know, to Islamize the country. The militants were fighting for the emancipation of their own people, believing that they are not well taken care of, they are not well, catered for, the oil spillage everywhere, and the environment is being messed up, and they want to draw the attention of the local government. They used arms and ammunition, and they kill for that. Okay. Now, when you look at the ideological driven factors from the two perspectives, there's a clear difference. For me, I do not support any arms deal or any negotiation process when it has to do with kidnapping, killings, militancy, or whatever the case may be. You need to attack these people head on. But most people want to say no. Sometimes negotiation is the key. Yes, I agree negotiation is the key. But if you want to negotiate with criminals or any criminal enterprise, you must negotiate from the side of strength, not on the side of weakness. We in our clan, we are negotiating on the side of weakness, which is not good for us. And that is why most times you see these guys, after negotiating with them in the other end or other part of the country, they keep on striking. But if we have a clear policies in place and said, hey, no hiding place for these terrorists, no comfort zone for them. Their refuge place should be decimated. Their comfort zone should be decimated, because what they do is that they take shelter in your government space, and from there they come to strike, go back to your government space. So let's make your government space ungovernable for these guys, because that's where they take their shelter from. Yeah. So if we want to get it right, we must set it straight and say, hey, no to any criminal enterprise. If we keep on negotiating with this guy, then why do we have the criminal justice system? It's a defeat on our criminal justice system. So we must keep punishment, we must place punishment and crime hand in hand. Whoever commits crime must be punished. If we don't keep that process in place, I tell you, we'll be treading on a dangerous path, like my sister here rightly said.
You know, I'm quite glad that you brought up the criminal justice system, because we do have a very effective one, and it's just interesting that it is only when it comes to the case of terrorists and banditry and insurgency that all of a sudden we want to see how we can turn the path of forgiveness and kindness and rehabilitation and dialogue. But you know what, still speaking to this, how do we rationalize the fact that there are reports that farmers in the Northwest paid about 139.5 million naira in farming taxes to bandits? Now, these are not government-regulated levies. These are people that are being told, if you don't pay us this money, we're not going to let you on your farm. And if you insist, we're going to kill you. How do we rationalize that? And then, if at all they want to have these peace conversations, because I know as of January this year, Governor Obasani told the path of dialogue, open dialogue with these bandits as a way of curbing insurgency in his state. So it is a thing. But how do you now rationalize the fact that it's not just about the killings, it's about the taxation, ungoverned taxation as well of these people? And what's your assessment on this continuous conversation? And the fact that as I speak to you right now, I can promise you that there's someone watching the show and can do something about this. But for some reason, all these great ideas that we share never mean anything.
I agree. It's becoming a criminal enterprise. And I strongly believe some people are benefiting from the state of insecurity in Nigeria, and that's why this war is not coming to an end anytime soon. And you talk about the farmer headers, the farmer taxation policies or farmer taxation. For me, I think that is a place where we have the absence of government, because if we have the presence of the Nigerian government, that will not take place. And this also boils down to the line of military strength, capability and capacity, our police strength, capability and capacity, because if we have a well-governed space, these people will not take shelter within our governable space. So for them to be collecting taxes in our governable space, that tells you that there's an absence of policing system, there's an absence of military system within that given environment, and we need to try to carry out a crime mapping analysis to ascertain where this is taking place within the Nigerian zone. Mostly in Borno State, Yobe State, and Yobe and Adamawa, I think most of this taxation incident is taking place. So if we want to get it right, let's just try to see how we can project reasonable policing force or reasonable military force within these governable areas, because I don't think this is happening in your governable space. Now, if we want to also move forward from the state of insecurity and this dirty devil in Nigeria, we need to also call our politicians to order, because I tell you, most of these guys I saw on television branding arms and ammunition, AK-47, GPMG, General Multipurpose Machine Gun. I tell you, these guys cannot find it easy. How do they get this arms and ammunition into our territorial space? Where are they getting it from? Is it from the borders? Is it from our governable borders? Or is it from by air, sea, or land? How do they get their arms and ammunition for them to be able to succeed in carrying out their evil activities? So we need to start looking at, terrorism sponsorship, because most times we just go after the fighters. No, if you keep on going after the fighters, you're going to kill till eternity. And that's why if you want to get these terrorists and bring them to jail, go after their sponsors, go after their commanders, and go after their leaders. When you are able to decimate their commanders and their leaders, you have a great success. Now, financing, terrorism financing, how do they get their money from? Is it through Burundi change? Is it through our banking system? If it's through our banking system, what is the banking system doing in the area of money laundering or money terrorism financing? Because for them to get these funds, there's going to be a placement, layering, and integration. So a lot of things needs to be done here in our country, because I see this as a joke. We are not ready to fight these guys to the end. To an end. If we want to get them down, let's go after these guys, their sponsors, their commanders, and also make their governable space where they take their shelter from ungovernable.
When you say that we're not ready and that the fight against terror is a joke, do you think that that is fair to the little success that the Nigerian security apparatus is recording? I mean, just last month, or was it 2 months ago, the top 2 Ansaru guys were not only apprehended, and now they have been tried. On a daily basis, we hear of the attack, the strikes by the Nigerian military. It is not enough, just like you rightly observed. When you are just killing the fighters, the war will never end. But then when you say it's a joke and that we are not ready, it doesn't sound to me like you acknowledge that effort has been made at all. And if that is your position, what precisely do you think the NSA, the security chiefs, and the entire Nigerian military apparatus should do more than what they are doing at the moment? I'm
not here to demoralize the morale of our soldiers. I'm a former soldier of the Nigerian Army. I joined the military 28 years ago. Sure. But what I'm trying to say is that just like the attack that took place in Maiduguri, 152 Task Force Battalion is totally unacceptable. Yeah. Because we have various commanders. We have a commanding officer, we have deputy commanders, we have company commanders, we have platoon commanders, and we also have section commanders. That is the trail of command in any battalion. Now, for you to tell me that some group of terrorists who are not well trained or rigorously trained, like our soldiers, we invade the military base, attack, succeed, take the arms and ammunition for our soldiers, run back to their base safely without being apprehended or be accosted, I tell you that's a joke. It's a total joke. A battalion of soldiers is not a few number of persons.
When you say it's a joke, I'm interested in understanding.
Okay, when I say it's a joke, I simply means that we are taking this fight for granted.
We're talking of the top military hierarchy. Because who is there to protect? Isn't it?
We have the commander-in-chief, the president of the federation.
Absolutely,
we also have the chief of defense staff.
Yeah.
We also have the chief of army staff.
Yeah.
The chief of naval staff, the Chief of Air Staff.
Yes.
These are the command structure
Absolutely.
that governs the sovereignty of this great
And the
nation.
NSA,
and the National Security Advisor,
Yeah.
who is a former police officers.
Okay.
Now, when you
They
have,
are the joke.
They are the jokes.
Okay.
Yes. If you want to put that words to my mother, I will accept
No,
that.
I'm not putting
because,
it. If you don't accept it, you don't have to. But I'm saying that they are the joke.
When I say they are the joke, is that you don't allow your men to be killed like chicken. Don't allow your officers and men to train so hard and die cheap. It's so sad for you to go through the Defense Academy for 5 years, go through the Nigerian military school for 6 years, go through the Depot Academy for 6 months or 1 year.
What do
training.
you
And at the end of the day,
failure to?
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you are being killed by this criminal element.
Yeah.
Why I'm attributing this failure is that never be taken by surprise.
No, I
by
mean,
this
what do you
criminal
attribute it
element.
to? The failure. What is the this joke? What is responsible for it?
For me,
we're weak, or we don't have the wherewithal.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that this failure is attributed to our own command negligence and also command capability and capacity. Because you can't have terrorists or people who are not trained, well-trained like our soldiers, attacking military base, successfully decimating and bringing down the base and also going away with their arms and ammunition. Where is our unarmed area vehicles? That is the UAVs that can carry out reconnaissance within the enemy territory and bring back intelligence to the military base, hey, that there's a premeditated attack against your troops or there is a crime in progress or an attack in progress. Because for an attack to take place, it's not all about disappearance and appearance. Yeah. It's all about advance to contact the enemy or advance in contact. Because when you advance to contact or in contact our soldiers and these criminal elements are not being accosted on their way to the military base, that is a joke. And it's a big joke, because where is our surveillance system? Where is our reconnaissance system? I serve in the reconnaissance battalion. What we do as a reconnaissance is that, as reconnaissance soldier, is that you go within the enemy network or the enemy terrain and carry out a hostile surveillance and ensure that you bring information back to the base. And when this information gets back to the base, you carry out a surprise attack on these guys. But these guys carry out surprise attacks on our soldiers and they succeed. That is why I say it's a joke. These guys kill our officers and men, and this is a joke. From 1998, 1999, 2000.
So basically at a time when there was not even as much infrastructure and resource as there is now, meaning that the time that you did this and 2025, we actually have better equipment now.
Better equipment, and we're still experiencing failure. That is why I said it's a joke, because the last administration claimed they've purchased a lot of arms and ammunition. This administration claims they've purchased a lot of arms and ammunition. But let me tell you this, arms and ammunition will not give us victory. The battle begins from the mind. If your mindset is not prepared, you will not win any battle, or you will not win the enemy in the fight against terrorism. That is why we need to start looking at the morale and motivation of our welfare. We need to also start looking at our tactical disposition and also deployment strategy. Because most times, when you carry out a crime mapping analysis and ascertain the enemy's suspected position, you must deploy reasonable security personnel or officers and men within that given area so that this criminal element don't overrun them, so that this criminal element don't take them by surprise. We are trained to carry out surprise attack against the enemy, but right now, we've seen this enemy carrying out surprise attack against our soldiers. Then I will ask, where was the commanding officer when this takes place? Where is the deputy commanding officer? Where are the commanders when this incident takes place? Then that tells you that it's also a failure on our intelligence system, because no soldier should train hard and die cheap while protecting the Nigerian state. We must start looking at force protection, in the sense that we must protect those who put their lives on the line to protect us. If we don't have an effective force protection system in place in our country, I'll tell you, a lot of soldiers will be leaving the military, and
Yeah, no soldier should train hard and die cheap. Yeah. I couldn't agree more with you. That's a very poignant point. Now, you see, Nigeria doesn't have laws like the Second Amendment, right, that the U.S. has, meaning that we don't keep guns at home. As a matter of fact, the average Nigerian does not know how to shoot a gun. And this means that a lot of Nigerians remain vulnerable and at the mercy of these attacks. Now, there have been conversations around ways whether or not Nigerians need to begin to protect themselves, how they can do this within the ambit of the law and what is available within our legal system, and also the communities, because even if we have these communities, they still do not have the rights to carry arms. So what's the way forward? Because now we are at this point between the rock and the hard place. This is not we're not just thinking of the future. We are in the future. We are in the oil, the hot oil. So what do we do?
Fantastic question. The Second Amendment is a good one for the American states, and that is why the rate of criminal attack, is on the minimal stage. I'm not here to tell you that we'll be able, I'm not here to tell you that we can eliminate crime. We will live with crime till eternity. The whole essence of crime prevention is to mitigate it to as low as reasonably practicable. For example, if I'm with a gun, I don't think my gentleman here will want to come to my house or to come and attack me, because you cannot see. If I'm with a gun, if I'm with a gun,
if you are allowed to carry on.
Not even if I'm allowed. If I'm with a gun, or if but the law permits me to have a gun.
Yeah.
Permits you to have a gun.
What I'm saying.
Permits a pretty lady here to have a gun.
Yeah.
I don't think someone want to go after her or attack her because they don't know her capability or capacity.
But it happens every day in America.
No, I'm coming. Yeah. I don't think someone want to go there and attack her, whatever the case may be. Most things you see in America happening is maybe a surprise attack. I was in Manhattan when the CEO of the NHIF or the National Insurance stuff was eliminated.
Yeah.
He was taken by surprise, shot from the back. Other clean issues, maybe like the school killings, they're all surprise attacks. Let me land.
Just one moment,
okay.
Please, so that we clarify things and we're on the same page.
Okay.
When we use Second Amendment and we use America, it is still on record that the highest number of gun attacks and gun crimes anywhere in the world on civilians happens in America.
What's the ratio?
We can check it out. But more than any other place against civilians is in America.
That's why I say we will live with crime till eternity.
Absolutely.
You cannot write off the bad guys.
I'm just saying that when you say that if an attacker knows that you are armed, that the likelihood of an attack coming against you will be less.
But you didn't allow me to land.
Okay, go on. That's fine.
Because, for example, if I'm armed or with arms and ammunition, she's also armed, you're armed.
Yeah.
No attacker comes and breaks into my house. He will definitely, face fire and fury. So most of these attacks you see in America are surprise attacks. Okay. Most of these people don't expect it to happen. So coming back to Nigeria, like she likely asked, if we're allowed to hold guns or carry guns, we should give the good guys the guns, because most of these community...
Who will be the good guys?
I'm a good guy. You give me the gun. You're a good guy.
Who will
you
determine that?
give the gun.
The
National Security Advisor to the country will determine that. You vet people before you arm them, because you can't just allow us to be in the hands of these criminal elements and putting our life, at risk. The bad guys...
Charles Kirk in America took his grandfather's gun.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Maybe the grandfather is the good guy, but not the guy who took the gun.
That is what I'm saying. So would you allow criminal elements to invade your community, kill everybody, instead of arming individuals?
So are you therefore advocating?
I advocate that every good Nigerian
should carry a gun.
Okay. After carrying out a mental evaluation, psychological evaluation, and ensure that they have the capability to do so for self-defense purposes. Okay. If I have my guns, you have your guns, the community is well grounded, the rate of these terrorist attacks will be highly mitigated. But we're not ready to do that. If we are not ready to do that, then let's take the guns from the hands of the bad guys, the terrorists, the bandits, and all other criminal elements bedeviling our territorial space. If we want to achieve that, let's go after them with fire and fury and ensure that we let them know that Nigeria is not a joke. Nigeria is not a playing ground. Anyone who commits crime will pay dearly for it. If we don't have an effective punishment measures in place, crime will keep on flourishing. If we don't have a speedy judicial system in place, crime will keep on flourishing. So crime and punishment works hand in hand, and those who commit crime against the Nigerian people must never, ever be forgiven.
All right, so just one moment, just a quick follow-up.
It's okay, let him
just
go
a
ahead.
just a quick follow-up.
But I thought ladies first.
Oh no, this is how we do it. Doesn't matter.
This is what we do here.
It's not a
Ladies
problem. It's not a problem.
This is what we do here.
So just a quick follow-up to say that when you back to the issue of the joke and the negligence that you referred to, how much of that will you attribute to infiltration? Infiltration into the system. The people that are paid to protect us, if they are compromised, or there's infiltration, because I'm struggling to accept that they are just not competent or they are totally negligent. So how much of infiltration do you attribute to what is happening before Kachi comes back?
All right, fantastic. For me, I think there's a lot of infiltration. When the peace deal, Safe Corridor, Operation Safe Corridor was established, I saw thousands of Boko Harams who gave their life to the Nigerian government. Stating that they've repented. So for me, I think they gave their life to the Nigerian government, because that repentant process for me is not it's not acceptable by me. Because my younger brother to the glory of God, survived, was shot in Maiduguri in 2014. His leg was shattered, but to the glory of God, he's well and good. For example, yes, he was in the army. He was attacked in Chibok. Now, if he was killed, God forbid, at that period of time, and I see most of these terrorists who kill our officers and men being fed with bread and sardine, well, good meal, are being pardoned, I will hate this country. And that is the truth. So for me, it's because it has not touched home. If your brother or your sister was killed in action by these unnecessary human beings, I don't think you want to support the repentant processes or the Operation Safe Corridor processes. But let's be clear, in a battlefield, there are people who are coerced into fighting. You need to vet those ones who are coerced, take them out, examine them. How do you get into Boko Haram? Because not all of them picked up arms. Some of them were caught in action. Some of them were, apprehended in their community, and forced into it. Then we can understand, or we'll be able to understand that, okay, let's see how we can resolve this issue. So for me, if you say how much of infiltration, for me, I would think a lot of infiltration, because most times you discover that intelligence being shared with our security forces sometimes, get to the hands of these criminal elements. So the Nigerian military should go back to the drawing board, reassess its command structure, reassess the motivation of its officers and men, and also reassess the length of deployment. Because 152 Task Force Battalion has been engaged for a number of years. My younger brother spent 4 years in the battlefield. I rightly said that the battle begins from the mind. If you keep a soldier for so long, for over 6, 7, 8, 9 months, the next thing the soldier begins to see is his family, his village, and his people. The fighting spirit would be demoralized, because if you don't know when you are going back home to reunite with your family, you will not put up that full armor to engage the enemy. And that is why most times when this attack comes from this terrorist group, they want to withdraw. So the Nigerian army should reassess their deployment strategy, reassess the length or the period of time our soldier stays in the battlefield. Maximum 9 months. Every soldier should not spend, or officer should not spend more than 9 months in the battlefield. Go back home, reunite with your wife and children. Sometimes 3, 4 years. I'm telling you the reality, and that is the truth, which is a tactical error. You understand? So for me, when you say how much of infiltration, I will tell you that there's a lot of infiltration on all ground. And if we want to get it right, every agencies should go back to the drawing board and try to, re-examine themselves and fetch out the bad guys within them and take them off the force. And
identify the enemies within.
Yes, the enemies within, because it is better to have 1,000 enemies outside, according to an Arabian proverb, than to have one internal enemy. What that one internal enemy will do can bring down the states. Yeah.
It's interesting that we had the conversation around the U.S. because according to the United Nations Office for Drugs and Crime, out of every 100 people in Nigeria, this is an estimate, 21 people are killed in homicides, like in killings annually, whereas with the U.S. you have 6. So you do have more killings here than you have in the U.S. in recent years. Now, I want us to go back to that question I asked you about what Nigerians need to do, because I think we've gotten to that point where we need to know how to stay safe. So while we hope that we implement all of these amazing policies and ideas, right? What do Nigerians need to do now?
All right.
Briefly,
Very quickly, because we have to go now. We're out of time.
Okay, for me, Nigeria needs to keep praying. We've been praying. We keep praying because we are praying.
We should keep praying?
And in all honesty,
after all the analysis,
I'm going to lie. In all honesty, prayer has sustained this country. And prayer has been keeping us. So what Nigeria needs to do, Nigerians needs to, first of all, support the military. We need to appreciate the military, our officers and men, the gallant officers and men that put their lives on the line to protect the Nigerian state. Now, parts of our country, sometimes we're experiencing express kidnapping. Most Nigerians are being kidnapped by the roadside, especially in Lagos. Lagos State is a hotbed for express kidnappers.
It is.
So we need to start looking at, Nigerians, seeing something, say something. And also, before you go to any area, you need to try to carry out an assessment or listen to the news. Try to know what is happening in the XYZ location. Have what we call situational awareness initiatives, Always be aware of your environment. Ensure that you talk less, Be very careful of social media as well, because most times people go to the social media and also talk all about their lifestyle there. And these criminal elements fetch intelligence or information from social media or from your own Facebook or whatever the case may be. So finally, I will use this medium to also appreciate our brave fighters, our soldiers.
Yes.
They put their life on the line for you and I, and we need to appreciate them and also ensure the government of the day should carry out an effective force protection mechanism, protect our soldiers and officers. Those who died on the line, take very good care of their families, their children and their wives. The widows, let's take good care of them. The widowers, let's take good care of them. And also, we must know that this war we must bring this war to an end if we have an effective political will as well, because the absence of political will is affecting this fight against terrorism. Counter-insurgency is a two-way coin: enemy-centric, population-centric, and military-centric. The military are doing their own. We, the people, we have our own way to do, our own role to play, and that is political will. We must support them and give them every information needed to bring this war to an end.
Well, I will tell you that we most definitely will keep on praying. And everything else that you said. Dr. Osajie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Osajie or Osajie?
Osajie.
Osajie, so I did say that right.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, Isha, yeah.
Thank you so much for your submissions. They've been very interesting and very, very apt on the morning show this morning. Thank you so much for your time.